What up? What's going on, people? Welcome back to Classics, the cinematic movie podcast. We take you to the iconic films of 20 years ago right here on iHeartRadio. I am your guy, Jay Alonso. With me, as always, is my guy,
Danger Neff, David Danger Neff. What's going on, everybody? How you doing, Jay?
Dangerous David Neff.
I don't even know why that's my nickname. When did that happen?
It is sticking so well.
Oh, so well.
It's sticking so well. What's going on, bro?
Same old. Just out here trying to be like you.
Oh, no. Be like me comes with bad stuff. But I think overall it's been a good week so far. A lot of ups and downs. I unfortunately crashed my car on the day before yesterday. So dealing with that. But besides that, all parties involved were okay. Just getting through that. And but I'm also I'm going out of town, going to LA next month. Mm-hmm. Next week, I'm tripping. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting out of town and breathing some different air. Definitely.
I got vacation in July, so I'm pretty stoked myself. Like I can't wait to get out of here.
So this is officially Deadpool 2 week.
It is, finally.
How excited are we for Deadpool 2?
It kind of snuck up on us, huh?
It did. It really did.
It was weird because Infinity War, so remember, Infinity Wars came out April 27th, mm-hmm. and that's been all the rage in the movies right now. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because I actually saw Overboard, the new movie, and that was enjoyable. It's one of those movies that look, I'm going to be fair. It's one of those movies that if you don't speak Spanish, you may not laugh as hard as you probably should.
You're kind of just lost. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. But even though they provide subtitles, I can tell you for one that the subtitles compared to what they were actually saying, it don't make no sense.
Gotcha.
It'd be like if they were trying to do subtitles to a movie that it was like they're trying to translate something that I'm like, you're I get what you're trying to say, but you're just generalizing everything.
Yeah, I really had no interest in checking out Overboard, but I know it opened up at number 3 at the box office.
It was cool, Gotta give props to Eugenio Perez. I hope I pronounce his name right.
He did How to Be a Latin Lover.
Yes, right? He sure did. Right. This dude is like 50.
Okay.
And he's living his life like he's a 30-year-old.
Like it's fucking golden.
And it's dope, man. Like I ain't gonna lie. You know what? I want to make sure that I say his name right because he totally knocked it out the park.
Well, in the meantime,
Eugenio Derbez.
Derbez, there we go.
Not Perez. Derbez. Sorry.
I like where the trajectory is in regards to the superhero movies because when Black Panther dropped in February, that was the talk, and then leading up to Infinity War, then that was the talk.
Right.
Leading up to Deadpool, now this is going to be the talk. Most movies that are coming out around comic book movie time, they tend to kind of just stay out the way,
Yeah, and that's what works so well. See, and that's why I'm really interested to see how it's going to look with its release because it's kind of sandwiched into two huge franchises. Mm-hmm. But really, because of how massive of a success the first one is, it's kind of okay to do it this way. Like they literally could have said, you know what, we're going to push this back into June. Once all the Star Wars craze and once all the Infinity Wars craze has gone through, and we're just kind of releasing your typical summer blockbusters. But they decided not to. They actually said, you know what, we want to see how well it's going to do on its own. And I think that's more of a testament to where because it's released by Fox. Where they think their buying power is right now. Because obviously there's talks of them being bought by Disney and now Comcast throwing their hat into the ring. So they're in a good spot and they want to show I think they want to show Disney like, hey, we're going to do pretty well this weekend. And it's also, whether you like it or not.
It's also about based off the, like I said, the huge success of the first movie.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds gives it his all.
Early reviews. Just real quick, early reviews are saying that it's funnier than the first.
Wow.
Which the first okay, as a superhero movie, sure, it kind of follows a formula, but it is it's really fucking funny. So for them to go kind of even further than that, I don't know if that's more on Ryan Reynolds or if that's the direction that everybody's kind of going with it. But I'm stoked for it.
Let's talk numbers. Predictions. Opening weekend, Deadpool's at what?
Well, what's the projection right now? Do you know?
Last time I checked, I think they're projected at 175, something like that.
I think
maybe a little more than that.
I think they'll fall just under that. But I don't. But I also think that they shouldn't consider that a failure if they do so.
No, definitely not.
Because I can easily see 155 for them. But I just think because Infinity Wars is still like how many people are actually saying man, I need to go see it again. Well, this is like the perfect time to go see it again.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not interested in seeing Deadpool 2 or you want to take your kids to something, let's keep this in mind. It's still a rated R movie. Rated R movies are tough to sell, but at the same time, like look, usually if you want to sell a movie and you want to make it go big, you don't put a rated R sticker on it. Deadpool broke those records when it first happened, but it also happened during a time period where there was really no major release.
Right.
Now, this is where its staying power is going to stay, because if it's going to stay anywhere, this is when it's got to produce.
This is what we'll see. If the R-rated thing really does, stretch out and really shines above everything else, because Deadpool 1 opened in what? February?
Yeah, it opened up in February 2 years ago.
So this was opening up in the kickoff of the summertime. Kids are out of school. A lot of people are off work, and so really you take that rated R vibe and just kind of see if it's going to stick.
I think it opened up Valentine's Day weekend.
It did.
It did.
You're right. It opened up against 50 Shades.
Man, that's kind of that was a risk.
It opened up against 50 Shades. You're right.
Because now I'm remembering some of the trailers for it, and how Deadpool was trying to make it seem like this is going to be like a romantic movie, to trick females. Not to say that females are easily tricked, but
I would say right now the marketing team for fucking Deadpool need a award somewhere. Because just the other day I'm in Walmart, and I'm going back toward the the DVDs. Music section, and they have the whole $5 bin part of Walmart, but it's literally the Terminator. It's fucking I think Face Off, a few Marvel movies, but all the covers are Deadpool. I mean, Terminator. It's all fucking Deadpool. I was like, who thought of this? This is fucking genius, though. Because we've all been to Walmart. So, we know that Walmart has that $5 section bin,
right?
For old movies. But as you look through the whole thing, you realize, mind you, it's regular movies like Terminator, Face Off. I think Bad Boys is in there, but it's all fucking Deadpool.
You're not wrong. If they continue on like this, I could easily see it being. I could easily see it being the best superhero franchise that comes out there, because at a certain point it just becomes a culture thing.
Right.
Like it's just yes, is fucked up in so many ways. We totally get that, but it's a culture thing.
Right.
People love to see the merc with the mouth that breaks fourth wall, that makes stupid references and all these gay jokes, but they're kind of funny and bro-ish in their own way. And that's a culture that he's tapping into a little bit. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely seeing it. I'm seeing it on Thursday. So we're going to see what's going to happen from there.
Yeah. So all right. So I just pulled it up. So it's the Predator, the Terminator, Fight Club, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But it's all covers of Deadpool.
I got to see this.
Check it out. It's all Deadpool shit though. Genius.
The Fight Club one, he totally has the bars open, and then there's just another Deadpool right behind him.
Supposed to be genius, dude.
And I love Fight Club, man. Oh my god,
it was a great movie. So before we kick off into today's,
So hold on. So what happens if you purchase these? Is it just Deadpool? Is it
no,
Deadpool the movie?
it's the actual movie, but
Oh,
the
okay.
case that is coming in is a Deadpool parody of that exact movie.
Because let me tell you, if it was just actually Deadpool, that is genius by itself.
That is true. That is true. I wouldn't knock it, but like Assassin's Creed, Office Space.
Assassin's Creed came out like last year.
Scissorhands. Dude,
God.
This is genius marketing.
I know, it's early for Christmas.
Oh my God. Anyway, but let's kick off a few trailers that came out this week.
Let's start with the Mark Wahlberg
Mile 22.
Mile 22. So lately there's been these I feel like Mile 22 has the potential to be something absolutely extraordinary. And I got to be honest, I'm super excited because the actor from The Raid and The Raid 2 plays a role in it. And if you guys have never seen The Raid or Raid 2 and you can enjoy foreign flicks and you like action, that is specifically what those two movies are. It's all action. It's usually incredibly brutal, pretty devastating kind of work. And you can really and the Raid 2, let me be fair, the Raid 2 is probably an hour too long. But the
Raid 2 definitely way too long.
Is way too long. But man, it's from start to finish, just all this action is just beautiful. Of course, Marky Mark playing Marky Mark in the most Marky Mark of fashions, and then they got the chick from Walking Dead, and
Being part of this funky bunch.
And Ronda Rousey's in it, right?
Yeah, it doesn't say a word in the trailer, which could be a good thing.
Hopefully,
Which could be a good thing. But I myself, I watched the trailer a couple times today, and before we went on air, and I was into it. I was definitely into it. I'm really starting to look forward to the new Pete Berg, Mark Wahlberg collab movie. This is like what the number 5 movie they've done together.
Sure, it's something like that.
Yeah, Lone Survivor, Patriots Day.
Lone Survivor's so underrated.
It truly is. Lone Survivor, Patriots Day.
I really wish that on that I wonder why Taylor Kitsch is not in more action roles. Like they gave him John Carter of Mars, and I liked it. I did. I thought John Carter of Mars was one of those movies that I get it. I know why people don't exactly like it, but I thought it was cool.
It was marketed like shit. That's why.
Yeah, it was.
Nobody knew what it was.
But Taylor Kitsch, like the dude is a pretty good action star. He should be in more things.
Yeah, but I am looking forward to Mile 22. Mark Wahlberg, the $6 billion man, I can take it or leave it. But Mile 22, I'm down for it. Mile 22 does open up August 3rd, so it's like toward the end of the summer run.
Right, and that's perfect. That's exactly when it needs to open up.
Oh yeah,
when you need that one last good action kick before your kids go back to school.
Yeah, definitely. So let's take it over to August 10th. BlacKkKlansman.
Oh, I refuse to call it that.
You called it?
It's BlacKkKlansman. You gotta hit all the K's in there. You gotta give you respect in there. BlacKkKlansman.
DJ Khaled.
DJ Danger Neff.
But BlacKkKlansman, Spike Lee joint, produced by Jordan Peele. Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting story.
It was definitely 1980s Phil Tarantino.
Definitely
1980s Phil. Excuse me. I did say Tarantino, but Spike Lee back in the 1980s was basically making Tarantino flicks in a lot of those senses. And yeah, man, I mean, it was cool. I really enjoyed it. The one thing that I think would be a little hilarious to kind of just throw into the faces of all the haters to Spike Lee is if Adam Driver's in it. And so if Adam Driver kind of gets confused and he doesn't know if he should join the Klan or not join the Klan and decides to join the Klan.
He's Jewish.
And I know, but that's what would make it even better.
Wow. I thought the trailer was dope. Denzel's son, John David Washington. If you close your eyes,
it sounds like Denzel.
It sounds like fucking Denzel.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy. But he's also on the show Ballers. Great show, by the way. But I think the concept is pretty dope. You have this black cop who can sound like a white guy on the phone. And bit by bit, he pretty much tricks David Duke into allowing this new guy to come up on the scene and be the new hot guy on the scene. And so the mission is to take down the Klan from within.
Right. And it's loosely based on a true story. Now, I don't know the true story. Do you know it?
No.
No, I know it's based on a book that's supposedly based on a true story. But that's why I think it's so interesting, because it's not like David Duke hasn't been in the news, at all or recently. Obviously his name continues to pop up every once in a blue moon. Right. And he's a terrible person, terrible human being, and all that. So to kind of see it thrown into their face a little bit, and especially letting Spike Lee do it, yeah, I'm down.
Oh yeah. BlacKkKlansman does open up August 10th. Check out the trailer, man. I think you really get a kick out of what's to come. And then finally, the trailer I've been looking forward to since we knew that this movie was coming. So much on-set drama. Bryan Singer, get the fuck out of here. We finally get the official trailer to Bohemian Rhapsody, the Queen story.
Starring Rami Malek. What are your thoughts?
November 2nd.
All right, so growing up, back in my hillbilly days.
Hillbilly days?
Yeah, when I lived. So, yeehaw. No, man, seriously, we had.
Did you chew a lot of tobacco?
Dude, I was like 10 or 6.
Gotcha.
So I guess I was at the proper age.
Yeah, it was legal.
So back in those days, we had when we would drive up to go see my uncles and aunts up in Atlanta, driving from the deep south of Georgia, we had 2 tapes. One of them was Amy Grant. Do not ask me to name one of her songs. I know she had one really popular song. Mm-hmm. And Queen. And so Queen is embedded in me because there's so much majesty that comes with it. Watching this trailer, it gave me the same exact vibes.
Wow.
What'd you think?
For me, Queen, growing up in the hood wasn't a whole lot of Queen going on, but
really?
No, not really.
Why?
Not really. But Queen was embedded in me really through the movies. Wayne's World.
Right.
Other movies that have featured those big Queen chart-topping songs.
Right. So one of my hopeful fantasies with this movie needs to come true. Michael Myers is in the trailer and is in the show, and he plays apparently the manager for Queen. He needs to sing along with Bohemian Rhapsody in complete Wayne's World fashion.
Mamma mia, mamma mia.
Mamma mia, let me go.
Yeah, so I thought the trailer was very well put together. You had an issue with not being gay enough for Freddie Mercury. So,
man, talk about putting me on the spot.
You needed more gay?
It needs to be a little bit more gay. Look, okay, there are concerts out there with Freddie Mercury where he literally goes and he takes off his shirt and he's just, skin and bones, gay, and he takes off his shoes and he's just kind of. He's prancing around the stage, and he's showboating, and everybody is taking it in. Everybody loves it, and I understand. I know he's bisexual, but it was pretty strongly encouraged that he was gay. Now I'm not gay, but I would like to see that explored. And while the trailer didn't necessarily reflect that, I do think that the movie will. I was just really surprised to see how many times he hooked up with women in it. He hooked up with a woman twice. It's a minute 28 trailer. You found time to do that?
You saw one guy. I saw one guy, but they cut it so fast. You're not sure what's gonna happen.
Right, sure.
But I'm very curious about where this story's gonna go because I remember it was a while back when the Queen's surviving members wanted to open the movie with Freddie's death.
Right.
And see. And so this is how we survived. This is how we pressed on after Freddie died. Nah, I don't really want to see that. I want to see the rise of the group, the rise of him, and leading up to that famous Live Aid concert where he died a few months later, right?
Right. Yeah, from AIDS.
So yeah, I want to see that. I don't give a fuck about how you guys went on after he died.
Right, and it's what so. So how they did go on after they died, if I'm not mistaken, Adam Lambert, who came from American Idol fame, he's the lead singer of them now. And to be honest, like they could have picked a better lead singer to try to relate to Freddie in that way, but we all know it's not the same.
Right.
And that's a no offense to either Queen nowadays or to Adam Lambert, but Freddie Mercury brought. Look, when you think of the best singers of all time, Freddie Mercury is usually going to be in your top 10.
Right.
For male vocals, obviously.
We are the champions.
You know, I'm stoked.
My friend.
I'm really fucking stoked.
I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, there's going to be that Oscar draw.
Oh, God, I hope so. I would love to see Rami get his. I really would. That drops what? November 2nd?
November 2nd, yep. So let's kick off 2-minute drill. Let's get into this thing. Today's movie that we're talking about today. So you have your 2-minute drill questions together?
I most certainly do.
All right. By the way, I feel like this movie that we're doing today is awesome.
I feel like
so ripe for what's going on right now.
Oh, man, it's like perfect. When we're done, please watch this movie.
Please.
And look for similarities into what's happening today.
You'd be surprised.
All right.
You ready?
You ready?
All right, 2-minute drill starts now. Who does Bulworth hire to take him out?
The actual guy's name or
The character's name, yeah.
Oh, I don't know the character's
3,
name.
2.
Nope, I'll let you have that one.
Davers.
Yep. Davers. Right. At the very beginning of the movie, Bulworth is kind of all over the place, and he keeps muttering a line in it. What is that line? It's totally a campaign line. What is it?
We are at the forefront of the millennium? No. Shit. We are at the... Damn, I know the line too. Shit.
1. All right. It's we stand at the doorstep of a new millennium.
All right. Whatever. Who is Bulworth often mistaken for?
Oh, George Hamilton.
Correct.
What does Bulworth refer to the business of getting himself killed as?
The Weekend Research Project.
Yep.
What did Bulworth do for LD's Little Soldiers?
Oh, he bought him ice cream.
Correct.
He saved them. He saved them from. He also saved them from cop being a dick. What talk show host plays a bit part in the film?
Larry King, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Okay. How much time we got left?
20 seconds.
Oh shit. Okay, here we go. Who plays LD?
Oh, Don Cheadle.
Good shit.
And what is the name of Bulworth's long-suffering campaign manager?
Oliver Platt. That's the dude's name, but what's his character?
Five seconds left.
He does an amazing amount of cocaine as well.
He does. He does way too much for one day.
Oh, my God.
2.
All right. Yeah,
one.
I'll call it.
It's Murphy.
I got you.
That was close.
That was a good one.
That was really close.
That was a good one. Definitely a good one. Well, if you don't know what movie we're talking about, we're taking it back to 1998, obviously, with the political comedy Bulworth. Original release date May 15th of 1998. Shares opening weekend with The Horse Whisperer and Quest for Camelot. I've seen neither one.
I don't care to see either one.
Yep. Don't care at all.
I don't trust horses.
Nah, not really.
I really don't.
I don't trust people who whisper to them.
Yeah, I don't trust that either.
Nah.
The shifty eyes.
I feel like you're pondering something.
Committed to a shoe. Who commits to a shoe?
No, not me. I am okay. But, yeah, so, where was I? Here we go. Production budget, $30 million. Box office total, $29.2 million.
That's a shame.
A real shame. 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. Very fair.
Oh, I would almost say that that's too low. But
I would have it go a little higher.
I would think that needs to. I'd pump up those numbers to the 80s for sure.
No, you said this is your first time seeing it, right?
Yes.
First impression.
Well, okay. So the opening scene opens up, and you recognize a couple things with this character, with Bulworth, who, by the way, is played by Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty is 60 years old in this movie. And if you guys don't know who Warren Beatty is, Dick Tracy, for those young cats who really don't know who he is, if you guys remember the Oscars from last year, he's the guy that mixed up Moonlight and La La Land. Yep. Okay, now
fuck him.
Right. Yeah. No. Warren Beatty is one of those actors that usually only takes a sporadic role, and when he usually does, it goes to Oscar contention. Yeah. This didn't go to Oscar contention, but he got nominated for.
It was nominated. It didn't win. The first movie that he directed that didn't win.
Right. It's ridiculous because this movie is definitely a comedy, and it's a little strange because it opens up with him kind of watching old campaign tapes, and you can tell just something is off with him because people are coming into his room. He's just not really caring what anybody's got to say, so you know that something is up. Right. And we get this infamous scene where Davers comes in, and they need to talk about the weekend research project. And a couple things happen. First, he wants to set up a life insurance payment. 4 payments at $2.5 million each, $10 million overall going to his daughter. Right. And that's when you start to realize that he just doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to live anymore because somebody opens up an envelope. This is your target, and it's a picture of him.
Real quick, that scene is so clever.
It is
because when he meets Davers and you're talking about, clearly there's something wrong with him. He's in a depressed, suicidal mode.
But you also don't know.
But you don't know. But you know the guy he's talking to. You're setting up a hit.
Yes.
So, there's a target, opens up the envelope, it's a picture of him. And even Davers going like, the fuck is going on?
Right.
He will be at the and, so I'm making it as clear as day. I want you to kill me.
But it needs to be called the Weekend Research Project so the life insurance payment can go through.
Right.
And so the very next scene, he's landing at LAX at like 8:10 or whatever. And he's almost trying to like run away from everybody. And people are kind of like sidestepping him. People are kind of like trying to try to talk to him about shit. He has this overworked campaign manager played by Oliver Platt. Who plays one of my favorite movie characters, not in this, but in Ready to Rumble. Oh, man, that's a classic movie for me. And, he's just like, he's like so disinterested in his own campaign that, and keep in mind, it's not like this is like the first couple months of the campaign. This is like leading up to the final week when everybody knows the election of 2016. Where everybody's just making stops. And if you ever watch a political drama, they always talk about that final week and how it's basically hell week. Right. Because you're traveling from sweep state to sweep state trying to figure out everything. Now, in the case of Bulworth here, obviously he's only running for the state of California. Right. But it's utterly ridiculous. On top of that, he has this bitch wife who they've clearly been cheating on each other.
Clearly.
But they're only in it just to keep up family appearances at this point.
So you see the turnaround when he goes to see the church in South Central.
Oh, man.
He's now drunk at this point. Definitely drunk. But he goes to that church. John Witherspoon is the pastor of that church.
Right.
And then, Murphy gives him the notes to read. He's all, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then he just lets these folks have it. He's speaking so from his heart instead of like what he was supposed to read. And one lady just flat out asked him, are you saying that the Democratic Party don't care about the African-American community? Isn't it obvious?
Isn't it obvious? How much money have you guys donated to my campaign?
Like, whoa.
And it was like, and the minute I heard that, I was like, whoa, what's he doing?
Whoa.
Because at this point, he still thinks that he's going to get killed.
So it doesn't matter.
Right. So whatever. I'm just going to speak my mind. And this is when, and he lets it out. I mean, it's one of those moments that, like, if you ever heard this in today's politics,
motherfuckers will lose their mind.
Man, we already do.
Yeah, you're right.
If you remember Romney back in 2014 when he talked about, I'm not interested in those kind of people, and he's basically talking about poor people, right? He said this in like a little campaign. Everybody lost their fucking minds about it.
Didn't Romney also want us to go to school on Saturday?
Something like that.
Let it kiss my ass, bro. No. What? No. But you do begin to see things kind of take shape for Bulworth because these two girls, also Halle Berry, they take him to this underground club. It's already after he's already wrecked a big dinner that he's supposed to show up at. In which I thought it was really interesting because the same girls you saw at the church are now at this, this political dinner as valet.
Right.
I'm like, is that a coincidence or?
Well, they asked to volunteer, if you remember.
Right.
So they said, we're looking for a volunteer opportunity. So somebody got the brilliant idea of saying, you want to volunteer? Great. You can be valet. First off, do you even know how to drive a stick shift?
Can you drive it all? But the underground club that they go to is hands down one of the funniest scenes in this movie because he just looks so out of place.
There's gold that comes out of this.
Oh my God.
People confuse him for George Hamilton, and Murphy. Keep in mind, Murphy's doing everything possible to kind of keep the campaign trail there. And he has Josh Molina, his partner over there, and they don't know what the fuck is going on. And it's just like Warren Beatty at this point. I almost feel like when Warren Beatty started directing this, he was like, you know what? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Beatty was really, really big in the political game at one point. I think he was just like so sick and tired of all the bullshit that was kind of happening with everything that he was just like, you know what? This is exactly how I feel. But I'm going to turn my soapbox moment into a 2-hour movie, and you guys just enjoy it from there.
I love in that same scene, he's at the bar, and he's staring down this really swole black dude who's smoking a blunt, just staring him down. And usually, knowing how some people will react in that situation, like, what the fuck you looking at?
Right.
The black dude looks at him. He just, no words were exchanged yet. He just passes him the blunt really slowly. And he grabs the blunt, Bulworth grabs the blunt, starts dancing and shit. I love that fucking scene. Oh, God, I love that scene. It's a great scene. But this, in that same scene, though, we get introduced to LD, Don Cheadle. We also meet Nina's brother,
Isaiah Washington,
who obviously owes money to LD.
Right.
So she works on getting him out the club.
And Nina, real quick.
Halle Berry looks good in this movie, by the way. She looks fucking fantastic.
Look, there was a time period between the Flintstones through probably Monsters Ball where Halle Berry was probably the finest person in Hollywood.
Flawless.
I mean, absolutely flawless. She had the perfect smile, the perfect body shape. I didn't realize how in love with her I was when I was a kid until I saw this movie now at 30 years old, and I was like, God damn, she looks good. She looks so good.
Man. But he's at this underground club for what seemed to be the rest of the night.
Oh, yeah. No, he goes on for a while. Now, there's a little bit of a metaphor that kind of happens before going into the club, as there's this homeless black man that kept saying, Bulworth, you can't be a ghost. You got to be a spirit. You got to be a spirit.
Right.
And he's ranting on, and
he's always showing up.
Right.
Everywhere he goes.
So it was kind of interesting. Seeing how this was happening. Now, immediately afterwards, keep in mind this is still Hell Week. You recognize that Bulworth at this point has not slept in like a week. And they go to meet the cardinal. They go to church.
Yes.
They go to church afterwards, and the scene that cracked me up so much in there was the two black girls. I can't remember their names, but the two black girls that kept riding with them that Nina tagged along with. Mm-hmm. They're like, y'all got singing in there, and like they walk into the church and they're singing joyful, joyful. Mm-hmm. And it's this all white choir, and y'all know what an all white choir looks like. It's right. Joyful, joyful. You know, it's
cut to
whatever.
The girls, they're soulful as fuck about it.
They're soulful. I mean, they're literally they're trying to Tony Braxton this a little bit, just going all over the place with the pitch, and you know what? It still worked. But everybody was silent as they sang through their hymns. At this point, by the way, leading up to this, Bulworth wanted to hook up with Nina, of course, and he was basically looking for a key to the room. When he finally realized that he doesn't want to die right now, he's like, "Oh shit, you know what? I don't want to die anymore." And so he's trying to concoct this plan to because there's this guy that's just kind of following him around.
It looks obvious as fuck, by the way.
Super obvious, but following him around, and you kind of get this idea that he's the one that's going to kill him. So he heads out. Bulworth heads out, and they head back to Davers' place. And it's believed at this point, he basically tells Davers what's going on. And he needs to make the call to the dude who's setting up the hit, and that's when things start to get pieced together. You find out at that moment, Bulworth doesn't know, but Nina is the hitman.
Yes.
At that point, and although she hasn't made a move yet to do anything, you come to find out a little bit of the plan. So Bulworth has to pay an additional $50,000 to basically save his life, and he's cool with it. He's like, whatever, right? But then the dude dies. He has a heart attack. Basically, has a heart attack right then and there.
Before making the call and stopping the hit.
Right, and of course Bulworth doesn't know about this. So then they move to. Oh man, where did they go after?
It's a televised. It's a debate.
Right, it's the first. It's the first debate.
Bulworth drinking from the flask. Murphy is incredibly high on cocaine at this point. We get the cameo from Larry King.
Larry King.
And once again, he's kind of just jumping on there, and he's kind of just speaking from the heart, which makes Murphy pull the chords and make the whole studio just go dark.
Right. And it was, and I mean, of course, we all knew that was probably going to happen. Mm-hmm. But what'd you feel about that scene when he first started going off? Like truly, did you think that there was going to be any way he was ever going to get this speech off?
No, because Murphy is so down for the cause. He would have did something to disrupt something. So I was thoroughly convinced that he would try to pull something for sure. What I didn't expect for people who've been watching Bulworth's moves all day, like a Larry King, was say dude, this guy's on a fucking roll. I need him on my show immediately. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So people are looking at him just being, talking freely and, being about free speech. He's really Donald Trumping it up.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly the whole point of this. In some ways, Bulworth is totally complete, but the difference is that Bulworth has been in the game for such a long time that for him to be speaking truths like this, people are going to listen because, well, if there's anybody that kind of knows how all the politics is going to go, it's going to be Bulworth. So afterwards, he needs to find a place to hide.
Nina's family's house.
And that was entertaining.
South Central L.A. You look incredibly out of place. Trust me, you do. But while he's there, he wanders around the neighborhood. He witnesses a group of kids selling crack. They're trying to sell him crack. And if you look at the kids in there, One of the main kids is Alfie from My Brother and Me.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that.
As well as, Jamal and Gerard mixing the two fat kids. But
Right.
the main kid is like Alfie from My Brother and Me. I'm like, oh, well, look at that dude. Where you been? But he buys some ice cream. Now, this next scene tripped me out because, he could have honestly not given a fuck. But when the police show up to initially just fuck with the kids, and they took the cop takes the ice cream from one kid and shoves it in the face of the other kid.
Oh, yeah.
Which, it just took a crazy turn. To which Bulworth runs out, shoves his ice cream in that cop's face, Off the sheer strength, that's fucking Jay Bulworth.
Right.
That's the senator.
Right.
Which immediately makes the cops like, oh, shit, we're sorry.
Right.
I thought that scene was so powerful.
It was, because how often do you see, look, let's call a spade here. How often do you actually see that? How often do you see a prominent, powerful white male going out of his way for black children in terms of what could have actually been an absolute, a devastation. We all talk about what's going on in today's world, right? The latest happening today with a black male dying in the custody of the police. Right. Nobody really knows what happened there. Right. So it's like, so in some ways it was kind of winked at that something like this was going to happen. So it's like, it's interesting to me that 20 years ago, either A, Bulworth shined a light on it, Warren Beatty shined a light on it back then, or B, he predicted it.
I think he shined a light on it.
You think so?
Yeah. At this moment, the Rodney King thing already happened.
Right, so it was 1998.
Yeah, so he's shining a light for sure. Yeah, has to. We do find out that these are the soldiers of LD.
Of course.
Bulworth, he's trying to get to another television appearance arranged earlier by Murphy, during which he raps and repeats verbatim statements that he's heard from Nina and LD about the lives of poor black people and the opinions of various American institutes like education and employment.
This is called the obscenity speech. And just to start it off, because
everybody should fuck everybody.
Because I'm white, and I can white this up a little bit. He literally says, obscenity? The rich is getting richer and richer and richer, while the middle class is getting more poor, making billions and billions and billions of bucks. Well, my friend, if you weren't already rich at the start, well, that situation just sucks.
Yeah, all right.
But he goes on, and it's a long monologue. Mm-hmm. Like the monologue takes a while, and he's basically just laying it all hang out at this point. He's like whatever happens at this point basically happens, and I lived my life in the exact way that I lived it. But I'm gonna let people know exactly how I feel.
Right.
I'm gonna let people know exactly what's out there and what kind of needs to be spoken about. And so he ends it with everybody just keep fucking everybody till we're all the same color. And it's like
pretty strong.
And literally everybody, and even myself, I was like, damn, like because it's true. You know, in some ways, we just got to be more willing to accept one another.
After Bulworth's the TV appearance, and it was funny because we get the first official assassination attempt.
Right.
And he escapes with Nina, goes back to her house, where she reveals to him that she's actually the assassin he indirectly hired to kill him.
Right.
Because she needed the money to pay off her brother's debt to LD.
Right.
But she had a change of heart. She won't carry out the job anymore. Yeah. Basically relieved, Bulworth falls asleep for the first time in days.
And he falls asleep for 36 hours.
36 hours.
You ever fallen asleep for 36 hours before?
Never.
What's the longest you ever slept?
Oh, damn. Maybe all of a day and a half.
That's pretty good. Like a full day?
Like a full day.
So 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. So let's say 35.
That's basically 36 hours.
Well, 35. No. like 24, I say at most 27, 26.
I think the most I ever slept was probably 19 hours.
Yeah.
Literally, I got home from graveyard, fell asleep at 8, and I woke up to get ready for my next shift. That day sucked.
So now we're on the actual election day. They want to know where the hell is Bulworth.
Of course.
He's mysteriously absent. During this time, various people are shown reacting to the TV coverage, and the impact of Bulworth's escapades is making on the political, social conversation in the country. And then Bulworth wins the election by a landslide.
It's not even close. He got like 71% of the votes.
It's not even close. And you would think you're like, dude, you're not going to win this. And he fucking wins.
So then, of course, you think that, oh, now that he's rested, maybe he'll go back to his old ways. He's getting ready to head out the door, and Nina is kind of hanging back, and he just looks back and he says, "Are you coming or what?" So it was clearly at that point you recognize either A, Bulworth had actually just changed as a person, or B, he was willing to accept the last week of bullshit that literally just happened,
right.
And he was gonna press on. He was gonna press on with this, and then Nina, after hesitating and questions of adultery, is shot over to Bulworth. He, she finally comes out, and they embrace, they kiss, and he's just like he doesn't give a fuck. And as she goes to enter in, because initially it was going to be a limo that takes them to wherever, but they said, no, I can't do the limo. Don't worry about it. Let's take a taxi, because Murphy said that. Murphy said, I can't do the limo. We're taking a taxi. Right. So Nina hops into a taxi, and assassination attempt happens. And he's shot in the upper chest. It's kind of left a little ambiguous.
Oh, no, it's definitely left very much ambiguous. Because you're not too sure if he indeed mixed it or not.
Right.
But it goes back to the homeless black guy. Can't be no ghost. I mean, it's pure Bulworth, What do you think his message was?
The black guy?
Yeah.
First off, I'm not sure he was even real. Which is kind of one of those I don't know. But what I think it was is you can't deliver a message. You can't deliver promises and then basically disappear from that message, which is what a ghost would do, right? A ghost would basically state that it's why we come up with the term ghosted. When we text people and people basically just never text you back, they ghost you because they just disappear. Maybe you're in a deep conversation, whatever. That's just how society is now. But being a spirit instead, it's more like being an icon, even being a martyr if you need to be. Shed the light on it and show willingness to stand by it because you have the spirit to actually do so. You have the bravery to actually do so. And whatever happens from it, but at least you stood by your message. What do you think, Edmund?
Very much the same. I know that when he appears, first of all, I feel like he wasn't even real. I feel like he was really just his own imagination.
Right.
Because
he has not slept.
He has some 36 hours. He hasn't slept.
Right. Hallucinations.
But the guy's always there.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Well, that's the movie. That's Bulworth. Like Dave said, after this review, find it somewhere online. Watch it. This movie will change your life.
If you have Stars, it's on Stars Black.
All the time.
So all the time, so you guys can catch it from there. I promise you, it's definitely going to make you think. Let me ask a question before we wrap this up. A movie like Bulworth, what sort of impact do you think that people can learn from it today, especially considering a few things, that this is technically an election year. What do you think people of all colors can learn from a movie like this, and how to proceed from here on out?
That some people that you follow in regards to the political parties don't believe half the shit they say.
Right.
That's probably one of the biggest lessons learned.
So when do you think it's okay to believe in somebody in that?
When they just simply say fuck it. I'm waiting for the day for somebody to just, you know what? Fuck it. Even Obama at one point has admitted he wanted to go full Bulworth. And,
oh yeah, he did say that.
He said, and those exact words, I wanted to go full Bulworth. Simply say fuck it. I'm gonna speak my mind about the situation. When you see these people on their campaign trail, kissing babies, just spewing bullshit, and you look at them and you say, you don't feel this way. You know you don't feel this way.
Right.
Just stop bullshit and tell me how you feel about it. I will respect you a hell of a lot more if you gave it to me the real. If I want, well, not Trump, but if Trump came out and said, yeah, I grabbed him by the pussy, well, at least he admitted it. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, that doesn't make it right. But for you to kind of to have this whole dog and pony show and people in this political position kind of just eat it up, you look fucking retarded.
You do.
But when you have somebody come out and just simply tells it like it is, you respect that.
It reminds me of, did you ever see The Adjustment Bureau?
Yes.
If you remember, at the beginning of the movie, he's a politician and he loses a race. Mm-hmm. And what's supposed to be it's called the concession speech, where the loser gives a speech about how the fight's going to continue, but I do concede the race moving forward, and it's supposed to be like a political gesture. There was some debate about it back in the 2016 election, because Trump literally said the week of, would you give a concession speech, and he wanted to bring conspiracy instead. Whatever you want to call that is whatever. Right. But in that speech in Adjustment Bureau, he basically kind of lays it out a little bit. He says, I wear this tie because somebody says that if we do this, I wear these shoes. Do you remember these shoes? And he's talking to somebody. And he's kind of laying it out. And people are really, really, really appreciating and enjoying that. Right. That, I think, is exactly what both parties can actually take. Look, if you honestly believe that the way that you're going to lead a country is by having a certain plan and going through that plan, then damn it, follow that fucking plan and do that plan. Mm-hmm. Because I can at least respect somebody that has the spine to actually do it. But if you're going to bitch and moan about fucking everything, and it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you are, what makes you think that that's attractive to me? It's not attractive to me as a voter. It's not attractive to anybody else as a voter. Now, whatever you feel about voting or elections or whatnot, the reason why this movie is so important is because you realize that there probably is somebody like Bulworth that's out there. Mm-hmm. And in some ways, Trump is like him. And in a lot of ways, that's the person you kind of want to see. You want to see somebody that, A, follows your ideals, and B, is going to kind of tell it like it is and follow through with that. That's the way I look at it.
So let's get into takeaways so we can wrap this thing up. David Neff, who's getting your That Guy Award?
Well, it's pretty easy. It's Bulworth. It's Bulworth. He is the star of the movie. Warren Beatty knocks it out the park. He got a Golden Globe nomination from it. He had great lines, but more importantly, he spoke his mind. And at the end of the day, you kind of appreciated somebody like that. Don't know how it would have wound up for 2 years in the Senate, but what the fuck ever. I mean, he had his role and it looked good. Good.
That's your award.
That's gonna be Nino. Halle Berry was just overly strong. Small shout out to the two young girls and taking over a white church, but but no, Nina plays a very, very strong character, trying to show that she's trying to take care of her own people and her own agenda, regardless of how screwed up that may be. That she's also a hitman as well.
This full award.
I kind of want to give it to Murphy.
I knew it. I knew you give it to Murphy.
It's not because I don't think it's because Murphy is trying to patch up something that doesn't really need patching up.
Right.
You know, he's trying to play the political game until the absolute point when they win the election, and then he decides to switch his cars. Oh, we're gonna do the taxi instead. And it's like, bro, just stay in your lane.
Right. Cut that out.
Man, it's a little tough to say because the movie is pretty tight. Mm-hmm. I guess some of the opening scenes to kind of, but in some ways it kind of builds up Bulworth. Maybe one of those little meetings to kind of speed that up a little bit. That's about it.
And iconic scene.
The obscenity interview.
Yes.
The interview where he literally goes and he spits out in full freestyle rap style his entire thinking of everything.
Motherfucker.
Seriously, like it's freestyle rap the entire way. He doesn't break from that. Which look, I've joked about doing that before, just spending a whole day and just trying to rhyme everywhere. Yeah. Beatty actually did it. That's tough to do. And he's 60 years old and immensely more talented than I am.
So catch up. Okay, so for me, that guy Ward will clearly be Bulworth. As the star of the movie, the guy that you follow, you really do watch his arc, realizing what's truly important in what you're trying to do. That chick award will go to Nina. Halle Berry's goddamn fine. That's why.
Yeah, she's
so
goddamn fine.
And she wasn't just a pretty face. She had
she was more.
She had facts. Face. She had info that she could really spit to Bulworth to have him retain that information,
right,
and use later on.
Right.
That this full award, I would give it to Murphy. I want to give it to her brother,
Isaiah Washington.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to go that route.
I would have, because you are in an underground club, knowing LD's here looking for you. You want to put more energy into this fucking dude who called you a motherfucker because you called him a motherfucker first. Why are you here? Get the fuck out of here.
I know. It's so bad.
Cut that out. At first, I didn't know what I would cut out. But now I know what I will cut out when they first get to the underground club and the two girls that's rolling with Warren Beatty and Nina's character, they're all sitting on the mic freestyling and shit. Like, you just walked in.
Right.
They just hand you the mic.
Right.
It was kind of odd for me. Iconic scene for me. Tell me why to come up with it. But it would definitely have to be
the little boys.
Huh?
The little boys.
The little boys.
Him going against a cop.
Yeah, that was one.
Oh boy!
But I'm gonna go into we first see Bulworth's wife, and he's rapping because it literally shows you this is where he is for the next hour and a half. He's not gonna fucking change. You know what I'm saying?
Does he ever stop?
No.
The only time he actually stopped rapping. Okay, whenever there was a camera on, he was always rapping.
Always rapping. Yep.
Always rapping. The only time when there wasn't a camera on him was when he stopped. Mm. That's impressive.
Very impressive. Very impressive. Written by Warren Beatty. Gotta love it.
God rest his soul.
Here we go, you guys. So quick hits. We'll wrap this thing up. I love reading this fact right here. Warren Beatty held a private screening of this film for Professor Cornel West. Beatty was unsure if he wanted to release the film and asked West's opinion. West praised the film and told Beatty that it needed to be seen. So you got your first official opinion from a black man. I respect that. I totally respect that. Aaron Sorkin and James Toback did a great deal of uncredited work on the script. Aaron Sorkin, awesome. James Toback, you piece of shit. Star Warren Beatty's last acting role in a theatrical feature film until Town and Country around 3 years later.
Yeah, and the last thing I saw him in, it was in 2016. And then
Rules Don't Apply.
Right. And
which he directed.
But then but that was after he took a 15-year break.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. How would you just like to say, taking a 15-year break?
Like, don't you have bills?
Right.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. There was a sequel in development named Bulworth 2000.
I remember that.
Basically talking about the 2000 presidential election, but that was canceled. I would have loved to get Bulworth 2000.
Yeah, that was Bush versus Gore.
Yes. And finally, the first theatrical feature film directed by Warren Beatty and since Dick Tracy, which was a gap of around 8 years. So you're doing this real Daniel Day-Lewis thing to where like, you pretty much work when you want to.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, there's a reason why. Look, Beatty has won Academy Awards before, never for acting, only for directing. And so it's stunning that it's actually stunning that he's never won it for acting. Seriously, think about that.
I don't think he's ever done a movie where he didn't direct it.
No, I know he's did movies that he's never directed before, but it was early work. His early work.
Did he direct Heaven Can Wait? Yeah, he did.
He did direct Heaven Can Wait.
What about
Reds? He directed.
Bonnie and Clyde?
He directed. We're gonna have to pull this up.
Fact checker Dave. Well, anyway, to wrap up this whole situation, I think Bulworth is a movie that you must watch to really gain the knowledge of somebody in this political position who one day simply said, fuck it. And still won. Mm-hmm. Got it?
No, I got it. No, he didn't direct. No, he wasn't a director in all of this. Bonnie and Clyde was Arthur Penn.
Yeah.
One of the guys he worked with, actually pretty interesting, Elia Kazan. You remember him?
Elia Kazan.
So remember McCarthyism, which now totally makes sense that he would make Bulworth. When McCarthyism came out, it was a whole thing. Look, maybe this is something we can talk off camera, but when the McCarthyism thing happened, he went after communists, and Elia Kazan a long time ago signed up for the Communist Party. And blackballed him. Elia Kazan also directed On the Waterfront, and he stopped directing literally for like 30 years because of McCarthyism.
Yep.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
That's fucking
That
crazy.
would suck.
Well, what a way to end the show. Thank you, Dave.
I'm sorry.
Danger.
Don't cut that out.
Danger.
Talking
David
about
Neff.
cutting that out.
Danger David Neff with the fact checks of, what an uncomfortable way to end the actual show. Let the people know where they can find you.
I am still, hopefully, the co-host here at Back to the
Oh,
Classics
no, you
podcast.
brought some random shit
Oh,
tonight.
no,
man.
you bring some random shit around here now.
That's random as fuck. We don't need McCarthyism around here.
This is what happens when you get somebody who's actually intelligent to
Yeah, exactly,
I'm not
you know?
some robots. That's just, this is what happens when you have somebody with their own train of thought. Anyways.
Yeah, if you said, hey, Jay, do you remember, are you aware of McCarthyism? Like, no, I'm Christian. You know what I'm saying? Like,
McCarthyism was a religious, it was a political thing.
of course I'm Christian. No.
You can find me. I'm still the co-host here at Back to Classics, part of the wonderful Beat Network online family. Here you can find us at Beat Network Online, obviously. I am probably going to restart up my Twitter because I'm ready for football season. It's a coming. It's around here. Go support the Vegas Golden Knights, please. We are 6 games away from the Stanley Cup championship, and we would love to have new supporters. If you want to be a new bandwagon fan, you're more than welcome to do so. And as always, you can find me on Instagram at David F. Transforms, where I talk about physical therapy and restarting that back up as well. My man, Jay Alonso, where can they find you?
You can find me really
Everywhere.
Well, right now, looking through a dictionary trying to figure out exactly what McCarthyism is. But you can find me on all the social media simply at I am Jay Alonso. That's Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. You talk to me and I'll talk back. The Facebook group, Back to the Classics, a movie talk group, is up and popping. Which, by the way, I do love that people do jump on there and they post different stuff. Can we just keep it about movies?
Right.
I would thoroughly appreciate it. Somebody keeps posting like tranny shit. let's keep it about movies. Yeah, cool. But I am Jay Alonzo and all those good stuff. Follow the Best of Classics Instagram page at BTTC Podcast on Instagram, and of course we now have our Twitter page up now at BTTC Podcast on Twitter as well. This has been a damn good show.
I really enjoyed it. It was a good time.
Yeah, definitely enjoyed it. Next week's show we got a good one lined up. Got a really good one.
You know what? The rest of this year, okay, like if you when I was looking at the calendar and I re-looked at it again, I was like, man, I love like all the movies that we're about to do.
Man, and now we're in the summertime of '98.
Oh man,
that's some gems. It's some fucking gems.
Even that winter had some gems in there.
Yeah, totally.
It's gonna be good times, guys.
So
get excited.
With that being said, we love you guys. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us the way you do. We will be back next week. I don't think there's a guest on next week, but who cares?
Does anybody want to be a guest?
Who cares? Who cares? I'm Jay Alonso, my guy David Neff. This is Back to Classics. Peace, y'all.